Hello, I'm Animus Fox, and today I'm going to be demonstrating and showing you how to build a redstone combination lock with 15 to the 15th power combinations. If my math is correct, that comes out to about 437.8 quadrillion possible combinations, and this lock is not that big. At least in my opinion, it's pretty small. So you have your keypad up front, your lights up here, and all the circuitry back here just goes through each of the digits in the combination lock. I have it set so that it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, so on up to 15 for the combination, just so I don't have to memorize it while I try to demonstrate this. So the first one is 1, it'll blink, then that other light will blink and it's ready for the next one. It'll blink, and if I press the wrong number, then it'll blink 3 times. And if I get all of the numbers in a row correct, then finally this light will turn on, which that's just this redstone line here. You can hook that up to whatever you want, a giant fancy piston door or a simple iron door. That is entirely up to you what you use this lock for. So let's get into how we build it. I want to try to keep this video as concise as possible. So first thing we're gonna need is the keypad. So I'm just gonna grab a line going this way. So I have a starting place. And the keypad is going to be 15 buttons in a row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And then I like to put redstone lamps on top of those just because, you know, it's nice. Lamps are fun. They make things seem nicer. And then you just build the rest of whatever you want in the front. So I'm just going to copy and paste this because that's not really part of the build, and you can design it however you want. So I'm going to stand right here, copy. No, I'm going to stand right here, copy. Paste. Alright, now I have my facade with the button pad. It's got 3 lights up top. You don't have to have those lights at all, or you can have them in a different place. I just have them like this because that's where I put them while I was building it, and I guess it looks kind of nice. So now, we have our keypad. Out the back of the keypad, we need a redstone line all along each of these gold blocks. They don't have to be gold, that's irrelevant. I just did it so it looks nice. But these are the blocks that the buttons are on. So on the other side from the buttons, we need a redstone line. And then that needs to be carried into our compare circuit. So let me get a refresher on how I did that. So I have right. So we have a comparator set to subtract mode, and our digits that we're comparing to are going to be coming in from this side. So we're not going to build that just yet. First, we're going to start with just the compare circuit. Now, coming out of there, we have a block 1 up from that comparator with a torch on top. And that torch is going to tell us whether there is a digit coming in at all. And then out the side of that, we just have a simple compare circuit right here, which tells you if the number coming in is 1 digit above what it needs to be. So we have 1, 2, and the way that works is I'll show you once I finish building. did it a little, I don't need that right there, but I'm going to build it that way anyways. You can build it directly like this. That will work too, but I did not do it that way. I did it this way, so there's an extra block. Probably so that it fits, I don't remember. But then we need to carry the signal from this torch into the side of this comparator, which is in subtract mode, and then we need to isolate that redstone line so that it's not touching that redstone line. So the way this works is your digit that you're comparing from is subtracted in from the left, and actually that's going to be a -1, which will be, I'll explain why. So we just put a comparator and a lectern and a book on page 1. So when you're starting this project, you're going to need a book, or if you're doing this in survival, which kudos to you, a bunch of books with 15 pages each. What's on those pages really doesn't matter. It just needs to have 15 pages because redstone signals can carry 0 to 15 signal strength, and when you're reading from a lectern with a comparator, the signal strength, whichever page you're on, will coordinate to what the signal strength is. But you have to have 15 pages and not any other number of pages because it works on a percentage scale. So if you only have 3 pages, then page 1 will read as signal strength 5, page 2 will read as signal strength 10, and page 3 will read as signal strength 15. In order to get the full 15 increments, you have to have 15 pages. Okay, so the digit that you want to compare to comes in on the left, and we subtract 1 from it. So say we're comparing to 7. It comes into here and is subtracted from what we input as a 6. So you enter a 7, you're comparing to 7, 6 gets subtracted, and you're left with a signal strength of 1. If you have a signal strength of 1, then this torch will turn off, this light will turn on, and this one will not. So what you end up with is on, off, off, and that allows you to have a signal. If the if the button that you press is one value lower, then you have 6 minus 6, which is 0, means there's 0 coming into here. So this torch will stay on, and both of these will stay off. And then you have on, off, off, no output. And if your value is one value above the one you're comparing to, say you have 8 minus 6, that comes into this block as a 2. This torch turns on, this turns on, and this turns on, because 1, 2. As redstone goes down a line, it drops in signal strength. So if you have 1, then it ends right away. If you have 2, then it carries over 1 block. Now both of these are on, and this is off. You have off, on. This is subtract, so the one coming in the side cancels out the one coming in the back, and you have no output. So this way, with this little circuit here, the value that you enter will only give you an output if it is the correct one. Okay, moving on. Now, coming out the back of that, we have a small switcher here. Go down 1 block, down 1, right. So, down 1, down 1. And then in this switcher, we have 2 comparators set to subtract mode. And then we have the redstone coming in here. So when this is off, this left one will be active. And when it's on, this one will be inactive, allowing the signal to be sent out one side or the other. And then we just need to carry a signal from this line directly into that little circuit there. Now this can't be too long because we're going to have a short. It only goes this much further, so we're going to have a repeater right there to make sure our signal reaches into this little switcher. So now what's going to happen is whether you press the right number or not, a signal is going to come down through the bottom of here and enter both of these comparators. But only one of them is going to be active at a time and allowing a signal through, and that is determined by your compare circuit up here. So it if you have the correct digit come through, then this has to be set to 3 ticks, by the way. That's important because this signal has to come in after this one. So if the correct digit comes in, then this will turn on at the same time as that is turning on, and it will allow the signal to come out through this comparator. If you press the wrong digit, any wrong digit, this will flash and it will come out here. Actually, I got that backwards. Since this one is inactive by default, it'll come out here if it's the wrong digit, and since this one becomes active when you enter the correct digit, it will come out here. Oops. So, after that, the next thing we have to build is a pulse shortener coming out of here, and that's going to go into our counter. So we have one repeater and then a pulse shortener, because this is coming out of buttons, and the way the counter works, it has to have a short pulse. So repeater, there we go. Now this works by, you have your, you should know how pulse shorteners work if you are experienced with Redstone at all, but if you're, in case you're not, the signal comes in the back, and then 1 tick later it comes in the side and cuts it off. So you have a 1 tick signal no matter what your input is. I can demonstrate that. See? So now we have our pulse shortener, and then we want the signal coming out. The side one goes down 1 block, and that's why the repeater is here, is so that it doesn't come out the side of the block there. And then we run that along into a repeater 2 blocks away, and then we isolate it. So here's how you can drop a signal 1 block. You have your comparator or repeater going into a block, and then below that redstone. Okay. Now we have our 2 signals, the shortened correct digit pulse and the regular incorrect digit pulse coming out here. Now we are going to build the clock. So we have coming out of this pulse shortener, it's 2 bits of redstone going into a target block just so that it actually connects with a torch on top. Just like that. And then the target block actually acts to also isolate this line from that line, because you don't want those interacting, and then a torch on top. And that just allows us to invert the signal and send it up into our clock, which will be up here. Or not clock, counter, sorry. Now, at the top of the counter, we have that redstone signal that we just have coming out of the pulse shortener goes into this 1 adder, but we'll build that after we build the actual little storage cell right here, and these are pretty neat. So this is being used to block off the adder for the counter, and then right in here we have our storage unit. Make sure I got the orientation of that right. The way these work is you have two comparators running into two blocks and 2 bits of redstone. And what these do is when you input a signal, they hold that signal. The way they do that is just by making a perfect little loop. It goes from this comparator into the block, into the redstone, into the comparator, into the block, into the redstone. But we can turn them off by sending a signal in the side, like so, if it's in compare mode. So the one that you want to modify has to be in compare mode. So there you go. Very easy little storage unit, and those can store any signal strength that you want. Now, so this comparator needs to be in subtract mode, by the way. Now we have our pulse shortener running into a comparator, which will be the adder, running into the storage unit. Now we need a comparator coming out of here, and another one because we need 2 here. So 1, 2, I believe. Yes, these are various. Yes. So actually we can have a redstone dust right there because it'll go into this comparator, into the block, and then we don't need a comparator. We can have a redstone dust going into this comparator. And then these are going to become the adder. So we're going to put a block here and then have our adder. So the way adders work with comparators is you have your signal, you do 15 minus 15, and you subtract whatever you want to add from the first one. So we need a lectern. We're going to do more books. So it's very important that you get the placement of each of these correct. Now we need a book leading into this comparator with a signal strength of 1. So that's a book on the first page out of 15. And that's going to be adding the 1. And then it's coming in this side as whatever is stored in here. So we have whatever's stored in here plus 1, which only gets sent through when that pulses, which is why we have the pulse shortener. If this stays open for too long, then it will keep adding 1 in a loop very quickly, and you won't be indexing 1 signal strength at a time. So we'll demonstrate that in a second once we have it working. But now you have the add 1. So these 2 comparators right here are at the ends of your adder. So we're going to place a lectern heading into this one with a signal strength of 15, and this one also with a signal strength of 15. So the 15th page in the book. Now we can demonstrate this adder. All I have to do is place a button down here on the pulse shortener, and you will see now we have a 1. Try to do this quick. So you can see that that torch flashing, which is making this flash off, which is allowing the signal strength from the adder to loop back into the storage. So every time I press this button, it goes up by 1, 4, 5, 6, and so on. And remember, we're going to be able to reset it just by turning it off, like so. And we're actually going to use that feature, the ability to turn it off, right here. That is going to be connected to the incorrect digit signal. So remember, we have the two signals coming out here. This is for correct digits. This is for incorrect digits. The incorrect digit line is going to be fed directly into the cancel over here, which resets the counter. So we have this bit of redstone here, that's our cancel. So we need to connect that. We're going to go down, 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 excuse me. And there you go. Now you have that hooked up here. You should probably build the spiral just like I did so that it doesn't interfere with any of the lines coming up. But if you understand how these things work, which I'm trying to actually show you, then you'll be able to build things like this on your own without looking at schematics and without watching videos like this. So that's why I'm trying to explain what each of the little bits is doing. I hope that I'm doing a good job of explaining that. If I'm not, I'm terribly sorry. So our counter, we don't want our counter to start from 0 because 0 doesn't allow you to take one of these signals. We want it to start at 1. So I am going to add a little thing here. This is just a comparator leading into a block which is directly above one of the pieces of redstone in the storage unit so that it'll go directly down in. And I'm just going to have a book, a lectern with a book on page 1. Super easy. Now, even if we reset our counter, it still starts from 1 because 1 is always coming in the bottom, no matter what. And that doesn't interfere with our counter, so we can go 2, 3, and so on, and then we press this one to start it back at 1. Alright, now we have the counter circuit figured out, we have the compare circuit, we have a pulse shortener. A lot of the complicated circuitry that's involved in this redstone clock is already completed. That's pretty much all of it. Now we just need to do the red coder, the input, and one more Rsnor Latch going into the lights. Oh, and also this right here is just a fancy blinker. So I'll show you how that works. Okay, so now we need to take the signal from the storage unit right here up and over, and it has to go into a red coder, which will be over here. So we're going to place a redstone right on top of that block in the storage unit, send it into a comparator block, and then kind of zigzag over and around over to here. And it's important that it lines up exactly how it does right here. So start right here, comparator, block, dust, comparator block, dust comparator block, dust comparator dust. Dust comparator block, dust comparator dust, and then another comparator going this way. So that just carries the signal from the counter across over into our red coder, which will be right here. Now before we build that, we're going to build the Rsnor Latch over on the side over here. So first thing is we're going to take the signal from the counter and take it out that block, out the side here. So there's our storage unit right there, these 3 blocks, and we're going to take it out the side right here, and this is going to be in subtract mode, and we're going to compare that against the final digit in our circuit. The way we're going to do that is by subtracting 14. So now it will only output a signal when the signal in the counter is above 14 signal strength. So if it hits 15, then this torch will turn off. And then that torch is heading into a signal blocker down here. So we have a dust directly below that torch leading into the side of a comparator in subtract mode. And then the signal that it is blocking is going to come from out the side here from our pulse shortener. So it's only going to let the signal from the pulse shortener through once it reaches the last digit in the combination. So we have a repeater, and then 2 blocks, and we have an observer. That is just for the blinky blinky fancy lights. It's important that it's facing into this line here. And then we're going to have that blocked off there, because there's going to be redstone on this side of the observer there. So now our signal is coming from the pulse shortener up into here. And ignore that for now. We'll deal with that in a sec, the observer. Now that we have this signal, we are going to send that into an Rsnor Latch. These are one of the first circuits that I ever learned in Minecraft, and now they are even better with these little target blocks. Excuse me, Christ. I love these. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3 blocks with dust on top. We're gonna grab a target block, put it in the bottom. We're gonna have dust, torch, torch. There we go. That's our Rsnor Latch. So now if we have a pulse come in the top will stay on and the bottom will turn off. And then no matter how many more pulses we have coming in the top, it'll continue to stay on until we have a pulse come in from the bottom. So whichever side a pulse comes in, it's going to stay turned on that side and ignore anything else until it gets a pulse on the other side. That's what Rsnor latches do, and they're great. So what that is going to allow us to do is actually turn on the last line. So like this lamp here, which signifies that you've unlocked the lock, it basically holds the lock open instead of just having a pulse. And then we're going to take the output from that Rsnor latch and send it directly back into our lamp. So right here, yada yada yada, and then we isolate it, and right there. And this line is a little bit long, so we're going to need a repeater somewhere in the middle to make sure that the signal actually reaches our lamp. Okay, now we're getting there. We're getting real close. Now we need a signal coming from the wrong digit indicator going to the right into our Rsnor latch here at the bottom to close the door or to make sure that it stays shut if whatever. happens. And then also going over to the right here for our wrong digit blinker. So we're going to build that now. That's what the observers are for. So we're just going to take this and we're going to go over 2 blocks, up 1, and then into here, and under into another pulse shortener. Because at this point, this line is still a long pulse. And we need a repeater here, not to increase the signal strength, but to actually make sure that this signal does not go back into the system. We only want to be able to feed signals one way into the Rsnor latch on this side. Only this one wants to take signals out of the Rsnor latch. Okay, and then going over here, we lead into our pulse shortener. Which is 1 tick. That's not supposed to be there. So a 1 tick pulse shortener. Okay, that's set up. And now we need a line connecting from here up to the correct digit indicator light, as well as the blinker, which leads into the same light, but it makes it blink 3 times. So, which way am I going? Right over here. We're going to carry this down until it lines up with that there. One more. And we're going to build, and we're going to put redstone on top of that. And I believe this line is also a bit long, so we're going to throw a repeater somewhere in the middle there. It probably can't go there. We'll actually figure out where that's going to go after we build this. So now we're going to take a signal from here, and we're just going to kind of build a little thing with observers here. Let's see if I'm doing that right. I totally am not. So yeah, I am. Over 1, and then that goes into here, and then another one of those. And all that's going to do is, when that flashes, it'll come out here, and then slowly it'll come out here, and then slowly it'll come out here. And then that gives you 3 flashes when you have an incorrect digit inputted into the device. What's next? Could be just the red coder. I think we've finished everything besides the red coder and the digit storage. Alright, so here is pretty much all of your logic done, including the fancy blinking lights. So now we're going to start on actually the unit that stores and indexes through the digits that you are comparing to. First thing we're going to do is build a simple red coder at the top here. So we have this comparator here going into a little T with 2 blocks to the left going into a line of 15, and then a comparator going to the right, which is subtracting 15. It's being subtracted from 15. Okay, so we're going to go 1, 2 with a comparator, and then a comparator here. Alright, and then a target block, because it is important that the redstone signal right here contact that, and then that is going to be subtracted from 15. So we're going to have a comparator in subtract mode with that signal coming in the side of it, and then a book on page 15. Then we're going to build a comparator repeater over here, which will allow us to quickly carry the signal strength down to the end here, so that we can actually have the red code, which is just a single torch or whatever being lit up from a comparator signal strength. So if the signal strength is 7, then the 7th torch will be lit up and none of the others will. The way we do this is by having a line of 15 coming out of this repeater. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And then that is going to be 2 wide, or 3 wide, sorry. So we have our line coming out here. And then we have our repeaters. And then another line on this side. So this basically inverts it. So now we have 14 coming in one side, and then 14 coming out this end, all the way over here. And since it's a bunch of repeaters in parallel, it's only one tick to carry the signal from over there to over here. Pretty slick. Now, all we need to do is have a comparator leading from the end of that into a line of 15 redstone dust coming out of this comparator here. Now you can see that we've inverted it so that we have 1 coming in here, we have 0 here and 14 over there, which allows this torch to be on and all of the others are off. I'll demonstrate that more in a moment. I suppose I could just demonstrate it right now. So I'm going to put a button back down here. Remember, this is how we index our counter. Now it has been indexed 1, so we have 2 coming in the side. 2 minus 1 is 1, so we only have 1 on here. And then 15 minus 2 is 13, so 13 comes over here. Those meet in the middle, and the one in the middle is off, allowing the torch to be on. And we just continue indexing. See, we have 3 stored over here, comes around the side, and the 3rd torch is on. 4. You can see the 4 right there. That's our storage unit. And then, to end that demonstration, I'm just going to reset the counter, which is that button, and that puts it back to 1, remember? So now the first torch is lit up again. Now, if I didn't have this, and I reset it so that the counter actually reset at 0 instead of 1, now none of the torches are on. So I have to have this, allowing the first torch to be on. Otherwise, this would be 15 to the 16th power, not 15 to the 15th power. But that wouldn't work because it's you can't have 0 in this system. You have to have a signal strength coming through, at least 1. Okay, we are almost there. We are very close to the end. Now we're going to need a sticky piston. 15 of them to be exact. A line of sticky pistons facing straight down, coming out from these torches. So 1 block over from this torch, sticky piston, and then sticky pistons all the way down. With blocks on them. These blocks are going to conduct the signal from each of the digits that we are comparing. And those digits will be here. We're going to have a line of comparators going into this veritable comb of pistons with lecterns on the back of each of them. Oh my gosh, I hate this part. So what I'm gonna cheat. Replace air stone. I'm just gonna do it this way. And I'm gonna get rid of that. Replace 0. Just trying to get rid of any unnecessary blocks in this build. And then we need books in each of these. And you can set those books to any combination you want. The first book will be the first number, second, third, fourth, all the way down the line. The last one is at this end, the first end is at this end. And you can see that by the fact that the counter is at 1 and the first torch is lit up, pulling a signal from this book and not any of the others. Now we need another line of comparators on the other side here. And you can see that one is actually pulling a signal. Now we're going to build a line here, and then we're going to grab target blocks and have one. Pretty sure I have them every other block. Yes, I do. And what those are going to do is consolidate the signal from all of these lines into a on-off line. And then we're going to have that leading into here with comparators leading from those. And then that goes into a line of dust and comparators, bringing the signal all the way from the end. So after each comparator, we have dust, and in between, we have more comparators, bringing the signal over here. Now, we just need that to be touching there, and I believe I did that with one more target block. Yes, indeed. I can't just use a regular block because you see the redstone doesn't touch. That's what target blocks are good for, is they suck redstone to it. They make it contact. And now, to hook up the final light, this one, we're just gonna take the signal from here with an observer. So anytime this value changes, this observer will observe that and send a pulse. We can't send that straight up because it'll contact this bit of redstone dust, so we go over one block and then up so that we know it won't interfere with that, and then over, and up, and then boom, boom, bang, done. The entire thing is now complete. You have just built yourself a redstone combination lock with 437 quadrillion possible combinations in 45 minutes. Wow, this is quite a long video, and I did it all in one take. That's because I don't know how to edit videos, and I can't be bothered to take the time because I'm not a YouTuber. This is the first time I've ever made a video like this. So, let's just test it out. Each of these is set to 1. So, if I press 1, that'll blink, and now we have indexed over to the second digit. And I'm just going to do that a whole bunch. Good timing. I hear my boyfriend pulling up right now. So it's about time for me to end this video. I just want to see the light turn on. Now remember, you can set those books to whatever you want. I just have them all set to 1 right now because I don't have time to go through all that, and you don't want to watch me do all that and memorize a code. But it is working, and yours will be working too, I promise, if you built it right. Alright, 2 more. Alright. There you go. Whoop. Oh my god. What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? It should not have blinked off like that. A repeater? A repeater. There's supposed to be one right here. Yes, indeedy. Nope, it's supposed to be right here so that it doesn't grab the signal from there. Well, let's try that again, starting from that one. Making me nervous. It should be fixed now. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now this turns on and our door is open. Then you just press any other button, or you can hook up one to set it off. You get the 3 blinks, the light turns off, and it's done. It is reset. We're back down to the first digit. So there you go. That is a 15 by 15 combination lock with 437 quadrillion combinations. I hope you enjoyed this 50-minute long video, and I hope you built it yourself too. Have a good one.